Hey y'all, this is Vinyl, and in today's episode, we're going to look at my recent pickups. They kind of go from the late April to the whole month of May. I hope you guys enjoy it. There's a couple of items that I picked up here domestically, either on eBay, Facebook Market, or directly from some Instagram sellers. And I also have a couple of items that came from Japan. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Definitely stay tuned until the end of the video. And I'd highly appreciate it if you guys comment below what's your favorite item that I picked up. Just communicate, let's show some love, and let's continue to create a community. Thank you so much for all your support. I appreciate all the likes and all the comments and everybody that shares. So without further ado, let's get into this video. Alright y'all, let's get this pickups video started with this beautiful set. I know I've posted it all over my Instagram, YouTube. I did a short, and as well on Facebook. I don't want to underestimate or understate how rare these figures are, especially the Mothra, given that I have found two in the past year. Some collectors take their whole life to actually find one, and to find one in a good condition is even harder. So just to quickly tell you guys a little bit of a background, I found this guy on eBay along with a lot of other different rare figures, but I only really wanted these two. It took about 3 weeks of this back and forth communication to try to find a price that was fair. I definitely paid a premium for this guy, but luckily I was able to sell off my other one to the homie Samian. So shout out to you, bro. Thank you for coming through and picking that up. It definitely took a little burden off my hands so I can make some money back to be able to afford this set. So this is definitely a really rare piece. I would value something like this in this condition about $2,000 to $2,300. Given the condition, I've seen them go up to $3,000 on Yahoo auctions. Next up, the piece that I was really after for the longest time. I have screenshots of this little guy that date back like 2.5 years before I even started collecting vintage, and to get one in hand it's a big accomplishment for me as a collector. I would rank this one in the top 4 of rare Bullmark figures when it comes to Mecha Godzilla. You got your standard that's super hard to find, the missile firing one. I would rank this one 3rd just because you can never find it, and I'm super grateful to find it. I did pay a premium for him as well, but you can't really put a price on something that never comes up. So yes, he's about 1K. That's what I would value him at, and talking to other collectors, that's where he's kind of at this present time due to the rarity of it. So if you want to see more about these figures, I will have another video dedicated to the UFO pack once I complete it, and you'll see more of that, and you can check out my reels and past videos on it. We're just going to end it with a quick little spin so you guys can see all the different angles of these two beautiful figures. Alright y'all, up next we have this Bullmark Ebra. Funny story about this, I bought it thinking it was actually a Marusan Ebra because the horns were placed back, and that's what I kind of determined was the reason why it was a Marusan instead of a Bullmark. Come to note that once I posted it, the good homie Greg on Facebook mentioned and pointed out that the original Marusans have a black streak going down into their nose that gives a very characteristic detail that you can determine, and also the I guess you could call them little horns, not horns, but antlers, I guess. They go the opposite way. They kind of look more like this, with the paint being on top. Right, that's kind of more how the Marusan looks. They're a little bit less they're not as high up, they're kind of more slanted to the side. Excuse me. And that's what I based it on, thinking it was a Marusan. I think another thing too is that the seller had them switched. So once I got it in hand, I was afraid Oh man, I think I got scammed. I think they sold me a reissue of a Marusan, and I got scammed. But once I came to find out, hey, no, this is actually a Bullmark. It matches the colors of the Bullmark figure that came out in the 70s. But what the original owner did to kind of match the original mold of the Marusan is that he swapped these over, and when you swap them over, it gives it that effect of the one of the Marusan one. And I think that now having this figure in hand, I think that's the main difference between the Marusan and the Bullmark. Besides maybe like the size of the mold, is that these are flipped, and when you flip them, it does create the same angle that the Marusan has. So I flipped them back just to make it easier for me to determine what it is, especially if I get a Marusan, I want to have a way to kind of distinguish them. The color is different between the Marusan and the Bullmark, but I think why the seller thought it was a Marusan besides the horns was that it still says Marusan at the bottom, and that's kind of typical for these figures of this time when they were transitioning from Marusan to Bullmark. A lot of them still have the Marusan sign on them, or they have a check mark or something like that. But just to quickly show you before I continue to rant, honestly, I wasn't never a big fan of Ebra, but now having one on hand, I really appreciate this piece. The colors are really beautiful, and it's a chunky dude. It's a big dude. It takes a nice amount of space in my cabinet, but I really do like it now. Having one in hand, I can appreciate the mold and how cool it is. Definitely an underrated piece. I got this guy a little bit under 250, I believe, or 200. I think it was under 200 actually. So yeah, they're pretty affordable. They come up pretty often, and I'm glad that I got one for a pretty good condition. So I'm just going to show you guys a quick little all around look in this little turntable right here. All right, y'all. Up next, we have this Bullmark Gorosaurus. I was actually not in the market for a Gorosaurus, but when I saw this getting posted up on Pristine's Art Instagram, I couldn't pass it up. It's honestly in awesome condition, and let me show you some of the closer details. As you guys can see, the paint on this one is near perfect. Look at the spines in the back, barely any paint wear. The red is nice and vibrant, and no writing on the feet. They're nice and clean. Nice little Bullmark logo on the foot there. And as you can see, it still has a lot of blue. I know there's another variant that has like a light blue spray, and it's mostly that like kind of whitish grayish vinyl underneath. But this one has a really nice application of blue. I really love the color blue. So I've never had a Gorosaurus, so having one on hand makes me totally appreciate the mold a lot more. Before I wasn't really prioritizing this guy, but I'm super happy to have one in my collection. One key thing, I always noticed that with the Gorosaurus, their legs were always kind of like sticking out. The joints were kind of weird. And I don't know if you guys can tell, but right there's a little tiny piece of vinyl that probably explains why the legs always look a little bit off, like there's some space between the joints. And I think it's due to that little piece of vinyl right there. And it has it on both legs. You can kind of see it better on this one. But I think that's what makes them kind of protrude, or I don't know the design aspect of it, but I've only noticed it on this Gorosaurus mold. Now I'm gonna put them on the little rotation table. You guys can see all angles of them. All right, y'all, you might think you might be seeing doubles, but actually I saved the best for last. This is actually a Marusan, I believe 1966 Gorosaurus. Very similar to the Bullmark, but this is where it really originates. There's so many variations of the Marusan as well as the Bullmark, but When this one came up for auction, I had already bought the Bullmark, but I couldn't let it pass up. The colors on this is extremely amazing. I like the Bullmark, but this one knocks it out of the park. Even in its current condition that it's in, look at those different hints of blue, dark blue, not a metallic blue, but it contrasts so nicely. Excuse me, guys, I'm a little bit under the weather. But as you guys can see right here, look at the red, how it starts to kind of going into like almost like a royal blue, like a purple, and then it kind of fades into this like marine blue. Especially with some of the vinyl being exposed, it kind of gives it a more of a gradient kind of look. But overall, for a figure this old, it's in really great condition. This guy normally ranges in this condition maybe up to 500, so I was able to get it less than that, so I couldn't pass up for that. And yeah, look at the blue, look at the colors on it. You got your Marusan stamp right there on the foot, unlike the Bullmark. I have them right here so you guys can kind of see the difference. You got your Bullmark, your Marusan, and yeah, look at them, guys. Like I said, there is a little bit of paint wear on the tongue, on the spikes, but still overall in great condition. The joints are nice, they're not flimsy. And I noticed with this original mold too, it also has a little piece of vinyl right there that kind of makes the legs protrude. But what I noticed about this one, the piece of vinyl sticks out on the outside, whereas the Bullmark, it goes into the vinyl itself. So I don't know if that has something to do with the design. But yeah, guys, I think it looks super awesome. Really glad I got my second Marusan. I really need more in my collection. But for now, I got this bad boy. Let me put him on the little rotating table so you guys can see every angle of him. And just for bonus material, you guys can see a little side-by-side comparison of the Marusan original and the Bullmark from 1970, I believe. So as you can see, the Marusan is slightly taller, just a little bit taller. That probably has to do with the molding process. And in terms of overall length, I think they're about the same. Overall, I think it's basically the same mold. I don't really see too many crazy differences, just with the Marusan being slightly bigger in size. But as you can see, I do love the Bullmark, but the paint on the Marusan is just really wonderful. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I definitely appreciate you guys commenting down below which one was your favorite one of these pickups, and also what kind of videos you want to see coming up. I do want to do a full-on standard size collection video now that I got the Ebra and the Gorosaurus in my collection. I think it's more complete, and I can show you guys all the different variations of the molds that are available from Bullmark for the standard size. So I've been kind of holding off on that until these pickups actually came in, but now that they're in, I think that's going to be our next week's episode. So definitely stay tuned for that, and let me know what other stuff you guys want to see in this channel. Please make sure to like and subscribe if this is your first time watching. Check out my other videos. I do content related to vintage soft vinyl, so definitely check that out. Thanks once again. This is Vinyl.